Hello everyone, this is the Nameless One, and tonight we will be doing the second creator roundup with YouTubers. I have here with me tonight... actually, I'm so used to doing it for the games. So, the way that we do the introducing people is for the creator roundup is I'm going to have you guys talk about yourselves as I point you out and introduce yourselves with your names, and then talk about like just a little bit of what you do, and then we'll get into the questions and whatnot. So we'll start with Doc.
Yeah, hi, I'm Dr. Anubis, and my main thing is that I do a lot. Mostly stuff about the new stuff that comes out, like the new G5 show, the comics. A lot about the comics, G4 and G5. And that's what I want to be known for. So we'll just leave it at that for what I do.
Okay. Premonition?
Hello, I am RemenissionViolet, and what I do is, well, I used to do skits for a while, and I've done a couple of discussion videos, but my primary form of content now is mostly doing animation, but I occasionally sprinkle in a skit or discussion video still in sometimes.
Okay. Equestrian Exploration.
Hi, I'm Equestria Exploration. I run a channel of the same name, obviously, and most of what I've done so far is focused on, I guess, combining theory analysis of the law of NLP with the unknown, with I guess paranormal topics, mysterious topics, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Just try to have fun with the whole universe. See what we can do
Wind.
with it.
It's your turn, Wind.
Hey everyone, I'm Windstriker, and I am I'm your friendly... No, I'm not gonna say that. I'm a theorist.
Okay. And Stardust.
Hey everyone, my name is Stardust42. Mostly I'm known for that one iceberg video I made a couple years ago, but I also make videos about Equestria girls and honestly whatever I feel like talking about.
Okay, and as you should know by now if you're on this channel, if not and you're new, hello, my name is the Nameless One, and I do a kind of an eclectic mix, but now it's basically all streaming related. Of course, I do these two podcasts that you should definitely check out. The other version, An Alicorn Discusses, as well as my two D&D games, the Lost Memories Second Chances and Heart of Darkness campaigns. I've also done uploaded theories and how-tos for D&D, as well as bloopers and highlights, but we don't talk about those because apparently nobody liked them. We were also supposed to have Little Shy, but Little Shy had to call out due to health reasons, so everybody thoughts and prayers in the chat and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. And I feel like a good question to kind of like start everybody off is to, I'm going to go around and I'm going to ask what made you decide to start doing YouTube? Whether it was inspiration from a former or current YouTuber in the fandom, or just like a random wild hair one day. Doesn't matter. Just tell us what inspired you to do what you do now. And we're gonna start with Wind.
Oh, I was hoping you were stout with like reminiscent or something. I can't pronounce. Reminiscent. There we go.
I think you said it right the first time.
I did? Oh. Well, anyway. Okay, so there were like two things, and I'll keep it short. There were two things that mainly inspired me. One, I wanted to be heard and a part of a greater community because a friend of mine, well, an ex-friend of mine got me into MLP. But also, I remember Sawtooth was actually one of the reasons why I became a theorist and learned some things from her as well as you, Nameless. I learned some things from you, regardless of if you want to admit it or not.
I mean, I have nothing to say about that.
But that's about it.
Doc, your turn.
Yeah, I guess it started for me when I first binged the show in like 2 weeks, 2 years ago. Then after I binged the show, I wanted more content, obviously. That's when I started getting into the fan content, and the YouTubers I watched were just so welcoming to new creators and new people in the fandom that I thought, I want to do that too. And then like a month after I binged the show, I had my first video up. Just because like I wanted to be part of that community. And I never stopped making stuff. I do like a video a week and more now, so I spend way too much time with this.
Okay. Equestrian Exploration. Can I just call you Equestria? Does that work?
Equestria Exploration. Some people call me EE or Explorer.
I'm gonna call you EE then. That works better.
To shorten version. Okay.
Anyways,
So,
back to the question.
the question was, why did I
What inspired you to become a
decide to
content
make the YouTube
creator?
channel, right?
Yeah.
I guessing a load of other people doing that is the main thing. Though what really pushed me into it was after I had to set up a Google account for a new phone that I'd gotten as a present, and found out through that you kind of only needed a Google account in order to get onto YouTube. So at that point, I was more interested in perhaps doing something in the MLP fandom. And one of the things that interests me most of all was see people take their passions, their interests, and combine it with the fandom. So I thought I'd try that. Combine something I was autistically interested in and combine it with MLP. And the rest is history.
Okay. And Stardust.
I've been in the fandom for many years at this point. I was actually just target audience of the show growing up, and I grew up with the show. And I was really involved in the YouTube community, mostly just lurking, watching other people. But you know, I've been watching YouTube my whole life, and I know Emplemon is a big inspiration to me. Little Shy, even he's not here, but he's definitely was one of the YouTubers that I watched very early on in the community. And honestly, just there's so many YouTubers. Jane Animations, we love her. If I keep thinking of them, I'm just gonna go on forever. But yeah, I had things to say, I had theories to spread, and I wanted to share them. So I started learning how to edit and making videos, and people watch them sometimes. So yeah.
Okay. Since I actually fit into this category, and like the musicians, I'm gonna be answering these questions as well. So, for me, once I like Doc, binged the show about 3-ish years ago. It feels like it's 4 at this point, but once I had finished binging the show, I decided I was going to be part of the fandom and decided I was going to be a creator, which originally started out with me doing writing, fanfic writing. But after the fanfic writing, I decided that I had an opportunity to start streaming my D&D games with the people that I had met through Sawtooth's server, and I was like, you know what, Sawtooth's not going to stream it, so I will. And that's kind of where it went from there. As far as the other stuff I do, the theories came out of the kind of the necessity to like get more content out there that wasn't just the D&D streams, to try and like get my name out there a bit more. It also helped in make it easier for people to collab with me, because it wasn't just me streaming. And then as well as that, with these podcasts, I realized that like, hey, there's a lot of really cool people in this fandom that don't see the light of day because they're so tiny. And there's some really big ones that they would never be able to collab with. So like, why don't I just like grab them all and stick them in a podcast and make them talk to everybody? And here we are.
I assume it's my turn.
Did I miss you?
You did miss me.
Yes, then it is your turn. I was supposed to go last.
Yeah,
don't worry, the brain cell will work eventually.
All right. Well, so the things that inspired me first was Bronies React. Specifically, HarmonyCon 2022. They had Bronies React panel and also How to YouTube panel, and that panel inspired me. That's actually the biggest reason I started making content. I've been watching content since 2014 for like pony content nonstop, but that was recently kind of the thing that really that was what pushed me to actually make my channel. And then I made my channel. I was like, gosh, the content I'm making bored the heck out of me. I don't know what to do. And then this funny guy called Ambizar on Twitter decided to promote his channel. And I was like, I'll check it out. And I found out, he makes skits about ponies. I could make skits about ponies. So that's how I actually got started making the content I did. Another inspiration was One Shot Questers, which is a D&D skit channel that's very funny.
I love that channel.
Yeah, it's so funny. And then the other stuff that inspired me more when I started moving to SFM, well, first I watched a panel at HarmonyCon 2023. I was like, I watched a panel with some of my friends, like Minty Root, Sapphire Histrine, Parameral on there, and I watched the panel because they were there, and I was like, you know what? I actually want to do animation. So that's why I just decided, you know what? I'm going to be an animator. So that's why I am where I am right now. Other couple of inspirations, they'll be the last few, not going to take up all this time, but Ready to Spades and Argo Damon are two animators that have very much inspired me for the SFM side, and then Lullaby for a Princess is something I want to create myself at some point, and I really like the Two Best Sisters Play channel. And that sums up about all of my inspirations that I can get out this fast.
Okay. Also, you said HarmonyCon 2022. Isn't that the one that I invaded the panel on?
I honestly don't remember.
Because I'm pretty sure that's the one that that was my first time being community guest, which would have been the one that I invaded the panel on. Because Ambizar was also a community guest.
No, that would be 2023.
Was it 2023?
Yeah, it was 2023, because this HarmonyCon is going to be 2024, and last year was the first one Ambizar was community guest on.
Okay, so that was... Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyways.
That was when I first learned about you.
Next question. Let's go with, as YouTubers, what are some of the major hurdles that you've had to jump for your channel, either deciding like what kind of content you'll do, or something like fist fighting the algorithm. We'll start with Reminition this time.
Alright, so I was muted for like 2 seconds. So basically, things that I've struggled with. The beginning of my channel, like I said, was a bit rough because I made, I've had so many YouTube channels I've made that I've just abandoned, including the channel I use right now, technically was a YouTube channel, but I only got up to, 50 subs, fortunately, so I just decided to use it again. But I get kind of easily bored of making content, or I used to. It's not that way anymore. But I got bored, and I was like, I'll just drop it. This time I wanted to make sure I actually kept making content. The content I was making at first was just not that fun for me. It was discussion videos without any, I don't know, there just wasn't really much of a point to it. And the discussion videos I was doing, so I just didn't really enjoy doing it. Like I said, after I started watching other content, it made me inspired to start making my own, more, fun type content for me. Other hurdles, algorithm. Well, one of the biggest struggles I've currently had is, alright, I've made all these videos. Normally, I predict a video is going to do really well. I'm like, okay, I've put a lot of time into this video is probably going to do well, and usually it does do well. My last video took me a month to make. 400 views. So that algorithm can sometimes be a bit rough, though I knew it wasn't going to do so well because I usually make comedic content, and it was a much more, dark and serious video, so. But, yeah, aside from that, the way I've overcome a lot of the hurdles I've had as well, the whole, not being able to focus on making content, is by making a lot of friends who also make content. Helps you stay inspired.
Okay, let's do Win next.
I was still thinking about what I was gonna say. I'll wing it. Okay, so one of the biggest problems for me is, I guess you can say, not so much motivation, but at the same time kind of motivation, because before in the past, one of my biggest problems was I kind of wouldn't think I was good enough for things to be on YouTube and stuff like that, and that kind of played into along with a lot of other stuff that was hitting me at the time. But for the most part, I was kind of attacking myself, and because of that, I kind of just didn't pour my heart into every video I produced. So a lot of the videos kind of ended up lackluster, and I didn't like it, which made me not want to make. It didn't motivate me enough to make more until after I ended up getting sick and had to have a tooth removed. But aside from that, during that whole part, I don't know. It's just it's just, I guess you could say, motivation. I guess then I didn't have time to think.
Okay. Equestrian. I keep wanting to say that. EE. Eventually, I will remember what I said I would call you.
Yes. Honestly, I think it might be focus, or sticking to what I had planned, or I guess staying invested in a particular idea, because I kind of have a problem with when I kind of try a whole lot of different things just to see if I can sometimes, and I don't know if I've really figured a way around that much. It's, yeah, that's the biggest issue I've run into right now.
Okay.
The issue before was anxiety, but I've mostly gone around that just by fighting through.
Yeah.
Anyway, next.
Stardust.
Yeah, like everyone else has been saying, the biggest hurdle is just motivation and like sitting down for hours and just editing. It really is not, it's easy, but it's not easy to just sit there and do that. I also really struggle with my voice, and I really hate it. People say it sounds fine, but it doesn't sound fine to me. And even if I'm the only one that it doesn't sound fine to, it still greatly affects me. And so, I have to sit there for hours and edit and listen to my voice over and over again. And it sort of creates that negative association in my head. And it just allows me to just justify procrastinating more and more. And so it takes, I think I released 4 videos in 2023, which is not enough for what I have so many ideas for videos. I want to do all this stuff and I just don't. And I wish I did, but I don't. And I don't think that pace is going to be picked up anytime soon. But whatever. It works, kind of, so I'm just gonna roll with it. Roll with
Okay.
what I got. Back to you.
Okay. Doc.
I wouldn't say I struggle with much. Maybe time management, because I like do so many things on YouTube that I have to manage it with other recreational activities and university and stuff like that. What I could say is I have a lot of video ideas, but I sometimes lack inspiration to do them. I get inspiration for a video, but at the same time I'm working on another video that I need to finish first. And when I'm finished with the other video, then the inspiration for the other idea is gone. And then when I try to write it, it's like it seems forced and stuff. But I usually get over that when I watch a few episodes or something. Then I get inspiration and write. But yeah, I've been dealing with that a lot lately. It's not really writer's block, but it also kind of is. So yeah, I guess keeping the inspiration for the many ideas I have is my main issue at the moment, combined with finding the time and not spending too much time.
I see. So my two biggest things that I normally fight with is one, I have the issue that the YouTube algorithm does not like me. I have to regularly go back behind my streams and tell YouTube there's nothing wrong with them. Please quit flagging them as inappropriate. And I think it might actually be the thumbnail, but I'm not sure because YouTube doesn't tell me anything. The other thing was like actually finding a content niche that I was happy with. Because I originally, like, of course, I had the streams that I still do because I am a forever DM. I always will be doing Dungeons and Dragons till the day I die. But the other part of it though is like I was convinced I needed to do uploaded content, and I don't enjoy the uploaded content. I cannot sit through the editing process. I just do not. It's not the most fun I have with it is whenever I get to collab with people and we work together on the voiceovers, and then it's just like, but then I have to like put things together on the screen and it takes forever and I'm too much of a perfectionist, so it has to look nice. So yeah, finding out like what actually suited my style of content creation has always been like my biggest struggle. And I think I finally found it with the podcast. Although it does mean that I still don't have like an uploaded content that fits what everybody expects. So let's start with a new question.
I thought we just answer the same question again. That'd be fun.
Okay, just because what I said didn't make that much sense out of context.
I'm sorry.
How about something a little more upbeat? Pipe dream projects. What is something that you would like to either work on, be a part of, or create yourself for as a content creator on YouTube that perhaps you haven't seen anybody do, or you've seen people do and you want to be a part of, stuff like that? Before I actually pick on somebody to answer the question, if you're in the audience, feel free to post any questions you have. We will get to them at the end, with Patreon members getting priority on questions if there are any of them in the chat right now. But I think we'll start with Doc this time.
I don't think I really have this kind of pipe dream project, because if I want to do something, I just do it.
So you don't want to be on Brony's React or something like that?
I actually never really considered that. The only thing I could maybe say is that I want to do more huge collabs. Like the one I did a few months ago, where I got a bunch of creators together for a 30-minute video in the end. I already have one more idea that I'm working on, but not enough time to manage it at the moment. And then I got another idea for something like that just today that I will not be able to work on, so I'm just gonna make it a video of me alone talking about the topic. Maybe I'll get some more people together for a second part another time. But yeah, I want to do big collabs. I want to bring a lot of people into videos, and actually RemenissionViolet is one of the inspirations for that, because he did it first. And then I just stole that concept of getting several people into projects like that. And yeah, I want to do that more again when I have more time.
Wind, your turn.
You mean projects other than discovering everything MLP has to offer, like every hidden secret?
That's too vague. Thank you. You
okay.
you knew that answer was coming as soon as you said that.
Well, okay. So I guess one thing I really wanted to do was I wanted to create an animated series at some point. But that was a year, what was it? What was that? Last year? Last year was that Nameless?
I think it was a little further back than that, but close enough.
Yeah, that's something I wanted to do at one point. I kind of lost the inspiration for that. Just not something I'm interested in anymore. But what I kind of want to do now is honestly, the only thing I really want to do is I just want to make my channel better. And that's about it.
Okay. So we'll pick on Stardust next.
Let me pull up my Google Doc. Haha, just kidding. It's already pulled up. I have a list of videos that I theoretically would want to work on and finish and all that jazz. But I did have an idea recently. I don't know if you're familiar with the YouTube channel Overanalyzing Avatar. But I just found their channel recently, and I kind of love that format in their videos. And I'm like, what if I did that for the entirety of My Little Pony? Because I totally could. Because I can't watch the show anymore without pausing a million times and just going off on tangents, looking up things, it took me an hour and 30 minutes to watch Granny's Gone Wild. Because there was a mustache on the building, and I was like, oh my gosh, did Flim and Flam add that? Was that always there? It was not. Flim and Flam did add that.
What the hell?
Yeah, right. I've thought about looking into Brony history. I kind of want to do a world record history of a Maritime Bay adventure. I want to do. There's a lot of stuff like that just takes. It would take way too much time and effort, and it's like not realistic. Knowing how slowly I work, like, and like some ideas that are just way too big. Like, I want to find every single reference that the show has ever made. And I know someone else recently like made a part 1 of this. I forget who it was. It might have been F-, but I really wanted to do that for years, but like that's such an impossible task because I know what references nobody's ever going to get. I think M.A. Larson said in an interview once that he made a reference to like some 90s McDonald's commercial that only he and his brother would get. Like, some of these are just impossible, but I don't know, keep your ambitions high.
Okay. Premonition.
All right, so dream project ideas. So I have about 1 million of those, so I'm going to try to condense it down to a much smaller list and just name off a few. So first, this is a project idea, but man, I will one day get Jay Haller's attention. I want to be on Anthology so bad. Anthology is just one of my, like, I really want to be on it. It's so freaking funny to me. And I love doing musical stuff, and so Anthology also has a lot of that too, so, you know, I'm just saying, I want to be on it. Also, Bronies React is something I kind of want to be on. Do I see that ever happening? Probably not. But, you know, that's a series I do like a lot. Moving on to the last not-so-original project, I want to continue Doors. I have a very big plan where I am going to try and ask a bunch of animators to come together and continue the Doors series. Because I freaking love that series, the animation in that is so fun, and I love all the little details and references in it.
I know a place you could continue that.
Oh?
You're part of it too.
No, okay, no, I'm meaning as in, like, actually, like, pushing to do that project. Right now, I'm stuck on one big project, so I need to wait until that's done to do any others. Actually, I'm doing, like, 3 big projects, but ignoring that. I want to be a community guest at cons more often. That's just something that I want to do, because I like going to conventions, and I like to actually, like, do a lot of panel stuff, and I enjoy being a community... I enjoy the idea of being a community guest. I don't know what it's like yet. I'll know after this Harmony Con, but, yeah. And then finally, last 2 things. More original stuff. I want to make really well-made emotional animations. Lullaby for a Princess is a big inspiration for that. I want to make something that a lot of people see and actually just, you know, get them to feel while they watch it, if that makes sense. I really want that. And then finally, this is a little less massive, but I want to make stuff like 2 Best Sisters Play content. I recently got that idea because I was like, dang, that would be really funny and fun to make, trying to insert characters into like the characters into video game scenarios using like really funny clips from other people. And yeah, so those are some of the like ideas I have. We'll also ignore the 500 to 1 million others that I have for now.
EE, your turn.
Okay. So, there are some topics, Easter eggs from the MLP universe that I kind of wanted to see more from, or maybe do stories in relation. The Beast from Beyond is something I've talked about on my channel, and Lovecraftian entity that apparently Daring Do encountered. But there's also a book title in the MLP comics, Incident at Santa Mira, which is a reference to a town that repeatedly appeared as an Easter egg in science fiction and horror stories, which I think might make for an interesting topic for an MLP fanfiction or something. but I haven't really been able to. I don't feel like I've been able to do any of those justice. Regarding real life topics, there's the Fresno Nightcrawlers, which is a cryptid that has a whole bunch of videos and eyewitness accounts. I don't really believe it, but I think it needs a retrospective on the whole thing, and I kind of want to have a go at doing that myself, but I haven't really finished the scripts. And finally, on the list, I've been meaning to do focus on animation for a particular character who I recently did some investigating on my channel, and I think there's a lot of potential behind this character, and I kind of wish there was more done with them, to be honest. And I think that's all I have here listed to say.
Okay.
Okay.
So, for me, I think one of the major things that when it comes to pipe dream projects is I want to become that like omnipresent YouTuber where like everybody knows I exist just because of how many places I am. It feels like Little Shy has managed to pull that one off. I'm starting to realize that a lot of the collabs that I never would have thought would have been possible are more possible than I thought they were. I think that one of the like ones that I probably won't be able to pull off just because of time zones is Prince Whatever. I would like to have him on one of the musician roundups, but he's in the UK, and you can ask Doc's up at like what 2 a.m. for you? 4. Yeah, so it's not going to be a pleasant experience for any UK or I'd imagine not for the Australian creators either.
I know that I was going to add that I know that Prince was on Out of Our Mains podcast, and they usually record pretty late too, so it's a possibility.
Yeah, just reach out. People are more willing to collab than you think.
I'll have to look into that one.
An entire thing for collabs, Nameless. We literally did that.
I just kind of I just kind of thought at the time, just like I tried reaching out to Black and Blue, and Black and Blue is like, oh god, that's early. I can't do that. He would have joined otherwise, by the sounds of it, but
Yeah.
Instead, I had Forever Free Brony and Blue Brony, both of which I was not prepared for them to say yes.
Yeah, that's pretty good music creators.
Honestly, I was not prepared for Little Shy to say yes, even if he wasn't able to make it due to health reasons. Like, I was not ready for Little Shy to go, yes, I will do this.
Little Shy is actually really chill, so that does help a lot.
Yeah.
Other than that, Pipe Dream project, I don't know, honestly, like everything that I've thought of that I wanted to do that wasn't involving collabing with somebody or getting on somebody else's stuff, like I've definitely been jealous of the Out of Our Main podcasts a little, and no, that's not why I started mine, but Out of Our Mains, Brony Reacts, all of the big projects everybody sees, even Little Shy's top pony videos. Like, I see those and I'm like, I want to be on those. It's like I want my name out there, but for the most part, like most of the projects I've come up with that I actually like if we're going real pipe dream though, I guess I'm with Wind on an animated series based on like Roll20 style based off of my campaigns. Like that would be really cool, but nobody has the money for that, and I don't have the time to rewrite all of the campaigns in a more digestible manner. So I guess that would be mine. So I have a feeling most of you knew this question was probably coming, but we're gonna do it anyways. What is y'all's biggest piece of advice to brand new YouTubers? And even if it's just something like don't use this program, or something big, something small, doesn't matter. Whatever it is, throw it out there. And I think we'll do this one as kind of more of a discussion, so don't feel like you can't poke in to say something. Just try to make sure if you have something to say, at least make enough noise that I know you're trying to say something. And if somebody's already talking, try not to like run them over.
Oh no, I'm gonna remain quiet.
Well, I will try my best not to run people over. However,
I'm going to run people over.
so you see, the type of advice I would probably give right off the bat. I would say don't focus too much on making algorithm like pleasing videos. You kind of want it's kind of like a balancing act in a way, because you want, of course, you want people to see your content. If you don't, that's actually that works too, obviously. But most people, you want people to see your content, right? Well, so you can do things that will, help the algorithm technically see your videos. Like, for example, I do clickbait thumbnails a lot of the time, or clickbait titles, all that fun stuff. But don't make a video just for the sake of, like, people seeing it. I think that's a very bad idea. You will get very burnt out on your content, and you will not be happy. So I think it's a much, much better idea to kind of, like, blend the two a bit. Or if you don't care about your content being seen, well, then there you go, and just make whatever the heck you want. But, yeah. Because I know a lot of people are like, oh, just make what you want and nothing else. It's like, that advice doesn't always work because people do want their content to be seen. So I think it's a better idea to kind of, like, mix the two together. So make what you want to make, and try to, like, if you want, just, make, like, thumbnails, titles, stuff like that people actually, like, pay attention to. And that would be, like, one of the better ideas for helping with that. So, yeah. Like I said, though, do what you want to do, not stuff just for the algorithm, or you will get burnt out, you're going to hate making content, all that horrible stuff.
Yeah, I've noticed that one as well with a lot of different creators that are just like, I hated what I was doing until I started doing what I wanted to do.
It's as if what you want to do is the right thing to do.
I want to add on, my least favorite video I've ever made is one of my most, like, clickbait videos. Like, my my top two videos, I believe, are Rainbow Dash Gets Booped, which was my first animation. Very, very clickbait title. That has 80k views, and I'm very upset about that. And then Pinkie Pie Drinks a Grimace Shake. That got made in a single day. It's one of my videos I hate the most that I've ever made. That is my second most viewed video. That's the other aspect of that. You'll hate the content you've made that got popular because you only made clickbait.
Wind, your turn. I heard you guys speak.
Okay, so adding on to that, my number one thing that I would say is, one, if you're starting YouTube, and the name, to quote someone, what was it? Olin Rogers, who created Pinal Space, really good show, by the way. You'll never know how far you can go if you don't take the first step, because that's always the hardest thing to do. After that, everything else is easy. But on top of that, when you after you take that first step, pour your heart into what you do. Don't just do it because it's popular or anything like that. Do it because you really love what you do. And that's the only advice I can really give.
So I'm actually going to add to that one a bit. One of the biggest things that I tell people that are like, oh, I want to get into YouTube, but I don't know how. Just do it. That's literally, that's all it takes. It's you can have like the worst mic in the world. You can have just like the only software that's built into like whatever OS you happen to have. Everybody's got to start somewhere. You can work your way up eventually. But unless you try to start, you'll never get anywhere. So that first step's the always the most important. You were going to say something,
So what
Stardust?
I was going to say. I was going to say that.
Aw,
Ludwig said
took the
that,
point.
the streamer, a while ago, and it's very true.
What I would mostly say is do not try to like push out videos just to conform to your upload schedule.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh,
don't,
God,
don't,
yes.
don't break yourself over your own schedule.
I feel personally attacked.
What's a schedule?
Yes,
I used to
it
make
is a-
weekly videos.
I know I'm kind of not the person who should say that with like 1 or 2 videos a week. But if anyone else tried to do that, like I don't know how I don't have a burnout yet. Like I genuinely don't get how I made it without a burnout this far.
I will say, as somebody who has had editors help me with making my videos, we got burnt out trying to do bi-weekly videos, and it was one editor per video. And all I was doing was like the script writing, recording, and making sure everything was the way that I wanted it to be. So don't set yourself a schedules per se, like depending on your content. If your content takes a long time, like animating, it goes up when it goes up.
Mhm.
Like I have my schedule because I know I can like I work in that speed anyways. If I knew that I wouldn't be able to make a video each week, then I would not put out a video each week. I would take my time, but I don't need to because I know I can because I am managing so far, at least. But yeah, I probably won't for much longer because I need to put more focus on university and stuff. So yeah, there will probably not be 2 videos a week anymore. But yeah.
I have a interesting piece of advice I feel that normally isn't said on stuff like this.
Go ahead.
This is definitely more. I guess this isn't exactly a starting YouTube thing, but it kind of is. Now I'm giving this advice not as someone who's actually done it myself yet, but don't be afraid to change up your content. Well, I've done it myself actually. I flipped the content, but I still make pony content is the point. But don't be afraid to like switch up your content. Like, let's just say, in the future you want to stop making pony content, right? Because let's say you're making pony content. Honestly, the best piece of advice I can give you on that, I'm just gonna point out 2 brony YouTubers, Black Griffin and Saberspark. Both used to make a lot, and actually Living Tombstone used to make a lot of pony content. Well, if you ever feel like, dang, I really want to move on to like trying other things, but I'm scared my channel's not going to do well, best thing you could do, start doing things very related to My Little Pony. And what I mean by that is, for example, Black Griffin and Living Tombstone did more fandom type content. Black Griffin especially, or not Black Griffin, Living Tombstones especially. And then Saberspark started doing cartoon focused content. And I only say this because I've noticed a lot of people at some point get locked into the content they're doing and don't know how to change. Hell, I was starting to feel tortured, not with pony content, obviously, because I'm very happy I make pony content still. But I felt like I was locked in making skits, and I was like, I'm never gonna be able to make a serious video. Because of these skits, it only really works as a comedy type format with this, and it made me very upset that I could never make a very serious video. So I decided I'm going to try and do like animation instead. And fortunately, my audience responded positively. In fact, I would say even better, because my viewership shot the way up after I started doing animations. But yeah, don't be scared to switch up your content. Best thing you can do is just always make sure it's like kind of related in some way so your audience will still watch it. Or just have a good personality. If you have a good personality, your audience will watch anything you do.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Actually, it's scary swapping around your content, but sometimes it is necessary. I heard EE make a noise. I was gonna pick on you anyways, so what you gotta say, EE?
Right. Well, first of all, if what you're doing is pony related, submit to Equestria Daily or whoever you can find. You won't get immediate results, but it will help to grow your audience to some degree. In terms of getting good videos, if your video relies on verifiable information, and more importantly, if you've developed any kind of social network, I would very much recommend test screening videos ahead of time before release. Even if it's something you've
shush,
worked
Doc.
long and hard on, be prepared to have to completely rewrite something should the need arise. Because there will sometimes be mistakes. There will sometimes be things you completely miss. Be prepared to destroy your darlings if the need arises.
Yeah, I actually do kind of agree with EE on that, because there were several of Sati's theories that he should have run by people beforehand, and I've definitely shot down a couple of Wynn's theories as well with singular names.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that though, you know?
I want to add something to that.
It's just something to be aware of.
What I was going to say, what I want to add. So for one, yes, getting networking is very, 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 very important.
Absolutely.
Even if you're an introvert who's scared, you gotta do it at some point. Are you scared of talking to people who are bigger than you? Well, throw away that fear. You're making content. As long as you show them you care and that you actually work hard, they will probably work with you. I've had Prince Whatever on my channel. I've had Little Shy on my channel. I've had a bunch of people like that on my channel. It's just learning how to actually, or Minty Root as well. So just like learn to actually speak with people. Don't be scared to speak with people. Even if you're like, oh, but they're so much bigger than me. They're humans too. And as long as they see you actually care about your content, they will actually, be down to go work with you. And not only that, we were talking about like the whole like proofreading thing. I've had plenty of times where a good friend of mine named Mr. Someone /Maynard / he runs the Out of Our Mains podcast person, criticize my content, and Lone Rider as well. I've had them criticize my content, and I was like, man, that really hurts, but I'm glad I showed you so I can make it better. My animations have gotten better specifically because I had those people criticize me. And it is a very, very satisfying feeling when my latest video dropped. I showed it to both of them, and they're both like, that video was awesome. And I'm like, yes! I got both of my best critics to say the video was good! It really helps when you do stuff like that. It's a great way to help improve your content, is have people criticize your content.
Yeah, and as somebody who, as me and Doc both we're the founders of the Creator Hub, and networking is one of the most important parts of being a YouTuber, honestly, because at the end of the day, you could do some of the greatest content, but then you might end up getting buried by the algorithm because you have like 8 subscribers. I would say try to like put out some decent quality stuff and like definitely show you have passion for what you're doing. And a good mic definitely helps by that point. Like once you've started making content, that's a point where you should probably look into better sound equipment. But like you just need to sound clear. You don't need to have the $500 mic for it. But yeah, the ability to talk to other creators is super important, because at the end of the day, whenever it comes to like spreading your audiences around, you can talk to other creators that have, say, maybe you're both the same size or one of you is bigger. They probably have an audience that you don't have. So it's always going to be beneficial for everybody involved. Unless, of course, you've collabed so many times that you're basically using the same audience, at which point it's just fun for you. And I would also say that when it comes to like the what's the word I'm looking for? Great, now I've just lost that train of thought entirely. Anyways, I guess we can move on to another topic then, because
Can I butt in with a small little aside?
What's up?
Not quite related. Little bit of context. Somebody is in my DMs telling me about Twilight Licious while watching my iceberg video, while not knowing that I made that video. So okay, let me I got a friend into My Little Pony very recently. They've been binging the whole show with their friend, the person texting me. They were a fan, but they stopped watching in season 6. So they together have been watching the show over Discord together. And when they watched the My Little Pony movie, they invited me a couple days ago. And that's how I know this person. That's why I'm in a group chat with them. And they've been sending some old videos, Children of the Night, Last BronyCon, Fandom Autopsy. And they just sent Twilight Licious. And I was like, oh yeah, did you know Tara and Gabe worked together, but they had to post on Twitter, blah, blah, blah. And then she says this iceberg video is so interesting. And I'm like, what do you mean? And then they post a link to my iceberg, which has the name Stardust42 right there. And they just keep going. They're just talking about Eminem. And I know they're for real right now because they called me he. They would not do that if they knew that I had made the video. They're still watching it. They don't know. This is hilarious.
That is kind of I've had one of those moments before.
This is I remember my friend was earlier, a long time ago now. They were like, why do I hear Don's voice? And then they go into the other room and his girlfriend was watching my video. And they were like, did I just drop my real name on here? Okay, whatever. And they were like, what are you watching? And they're like, I'm watching this iceberg video. And they're like, oh yeah, my friend made that. This is I will update if they figure it out. But we can get back to the stream. Sorry.
Well, actually, I know that not all of us are gonna necessarily have much experience with it, but has anybody ever had that moment where for me, it's like when you're at at HarmonyCon or somewhere like that, and you suddenly see somebody that comes up to you, and it's just like, "Are you this guy?" And it's like,
I have something.
I have something too. I'll let Doc go first, of course.
At GalaCon last year, I don't really get recognized in public, not even at cons, and I don't really care. But then at the last GalaCon, I obviously wore my con badge, and I was at the signing at the signing sessions for the guest of honor. And then one of them saw my badge and my name and was like, "Do we know each other? Have I met you before?" No, we hadn't. One of the guests of honor watches my content, and Anasani, the voice of Izzy in G5, watches my content and
Oh my gosh.
told she did at least watch some of my content, and she recognized my OC and name.
Bruh, I'm jealous now.
And I was getting something signed by her, because I thought she was cool, but then she told me that she watches me, and I almost collapsed at that moment because I was so overwhelmed. I did not expect the voice actor to actually know who I am.
Yeah.
It made my week, and it was the highlight of GalaCon last year. And I use every opportunity to brag about it. I know it isn't really bragging to people who don't like G5 or don't know G5 that well, but to me and other G5 fans, that's like I was so overwhelmed and like it was great, and I did not stop talking about it at GalaCon.
That's so cool.
Anyways, come to GalaCon.
Most of us
For me-
Americans are we have one Australian, I believe. That I got the accent right. Right? You're Australian.
Pardon? No, I'm actually from England.
Oh shit. I got it wrong.
Oh,
Well, this is awkward.
So continuing the subject,
right.
I need to
So-
feed my ego for a second.
So
So,
EE can go to GalaCon.
I mean, I can be in Australia if you want.
what I was gonna say though is I've had a few interactions that surprised me. Well, okay, so my first interaction was not with me actually. Ambizar went to a convention. He went to Everfree in 2022. And someone's like, "Oh, hey, I like your video. I've seen your content. I really like your videos." He was like, "Oh, yeah?" And they're like, "Yeah, Starlight Glimmer Fans is one of my favorite videos I've seen recently." And he was like, "Yeah, that's a RemenissionViolet video." And they're like, "Oh, shoot, I mixed up people." But hey, technically speaking, that was the first fan thing ever, which I find very funny because they thought I was someone else. But aside from that, at HarmonyCon, at like the next HarmonyCon after I started making content, I had a fan, which surprised the heck out of me. They actually wanted a picture. That's not something I thought would have ever happened, especially because I was like below 1K subs at that point. And then a lot of the interactions I had, this isn't exactly the same thing, but because I actually had talked to Prince quite a bit by this point, getting a hug from Prince like, because he actually knew who I was very interesting. I was just like, huh, this person I've listened to the music of for a long time actually just knows who I am now. This is freaking awesome. And then finally another like funny situation is I went to go get like a CD signed by Koa, and whenever she was signing the CD, she was like, she looked at my OC and was like, "Oh hey, I know who you are." And I had an awkward fan interaction with her the year before, so I was horrified when she said that. But as it turns out, she doesn't remember that awkward interaction. So, she was just like, "Oh yeah, you're that really nice person. I've seen you on Twitter." And I'm like, oh, that's what you know me for. Oh, thank God. And aside from that, the one other time I've like Everfree, I met a lot of creators who actually knew of me, which was really cool. But, at HarmonyCon, the like final like interaction I can think of off of the top of my head that kind of had me confused because I'm a skit content creator is someone recognized my OC. They're like, "Hey, can I look at your badge for a second?" And then they looked at it like, "I really like your OC. I've seen them on Twitter." They had no idea who I was. They just really liked my OC. Which I was like, huh, okay.
Yeah, I've had a couple of those types of interactions. The first one I'm going to talk about is actually at HarmonyCon 2022 before I had decided that I was going to be a community guest. I was like standing in line for a concert, and he's currently one of my Patreons, but he walked up and like, he's like, "Excuse me, are you the nameless one?" And like, it took me a minute to be able to answer the question because I was so floored by the fact that somebody actually recognized me, and not only recognized me while I wasn't a community guest. Like, he picked me out of a crowd somehow, and I'm just like, holy shit, somebody recognizes me, and not just because Sawtooth. But yeah, that was really cool. The other one I've actually had, Dark Scroll on Twitter is a artist that about the time that I was going to be a community guest, he sent he put up a tweet of like the profile picture that I use on both Discord and YouTube now, and I'm like, oh, it must be a HarmonyCon thing. Do they get custom commissions or something? Anyways, it's really cool. I'm really excited. And then later I find out he had nothing to do with that. He just liked my OC so much. He spent like, by his own word, he spent years practicing drawing so that he felt like he was good enough to draw it. And I'm just like over here like, what the hell? I had never expected anything like this. Now he does art for me all the time. In fact, the channel banner and all of the advertisement pictures that I'm going to be using to show off my panels are done by Dark Scroll.
You also made, fun fact, you also made my YouTube profile picture. It was a like gift art, and he is amazing, like genuinely.
But
Does anyone want to add anything?
yeah, the other half of the screen hasn't spoken. EE wins star.
I mean, I would love to go to some cons and like be a community guest, or if that's possible. But I can't afford that, and I'm planning for some cons in 2025. Hopefully, I'll be able to go to some then. But until then, I'm kind of stuck. And the person is still texting. They're giving me a play-by-play. It's really funny.
So, fun fact for cons nowadays, used to they were invite only. Now, a lot of them do it by application. So, if you are... If I would recommend your first con be something that you'd go as just like a attendee, but
I've been to cons before. Like I've been to BronyCon 2013 and 16, and I went to Anthrocon, the most recent one. And if I went to a PonyCon, I would want to be more involved.
HarmonyCon,
yeah, that makes sense.
It was my biggest suggestion for a con. That was my first con, and I'm very glad it was. It's still my favorite convention at this point.
Even in 2025, I'm worried I won't be allowed in Texas. That's my worry.
Oh yeah.
I mean, specifically, if you're staying at the con, I can say for like a fact, it will be fine because there's plenty of people who've gone to conventions like that.
Yeah, it probably will be, but again, 2025 will be a different year. Hopefully, things will be better, but something I have to consider.
I'm over here in Europe, and the cons don't really do community guests. Like the cons that I went to where I held panels, I was a panelist, and panelist and community guest is basically the same. They don't specifically invite community guests except for the musicians, at least for the most part. So yeah, that's one advantage of the US cons in my book.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was I'm very glad that HarmonyCon actually accepted me as a community guest, because otherwise I would not be going this year. I don't have any money. I'm sleeping on the floor of someone else's hotel room with a sleeping bag.
They don't pay for anything, do they?
Usually no. They just pay for your badge, which I didn't even have money for that. So.
Oh damn.
I mean, honestly, it kind of makes sense because conventions don't necessarily make money.
The main people they pay for is guest of honor because that's more of a business thing for those people.
So yeah, if you have, and especially since they have 30 plus this year, that's a lot of people to have to pay for hotel rooms or whatever for.
Yeah.
They may have one or two that they specifically invite that the only way they could get them over there is to pay for it. But for the most part, people are going to end up with more of a situation where they pay for their own stuff except for the ticket.
Yeah.
But it does get your name out there. So it's a good way to get your name out there going through doing conventions like that, if you have any local ones. Wind and EE, do you have anything to weigh in with this?
I mean, I don't really go to conventions or anything. I don't really have any stories of anyone noticing me because I don't. Yeah.
You don't go outside. We get it.
What I do?
No, we now established that you don't go
Um,
outside. There's no way to refute that now.
I
Shush,
completely go outside.
shush. EE was speaking.
I've been to online conventions, not really the same thing. Not really as a guest either. So yeah, I don't really have many stories of being recognized. Closest I can think of is being recognized by someone on DeviantArt. So not really the same thing.
I mean, it's still getting recognized by somebody.
And that was, yeah, it wasn't even for my channel. It was actually for voice acting work I was doing on another channel's audio drama, which I didn't really expect to be recognized for that, really. But yeah, carry on.
Interesting. Let me see. This one's actually a little harder to come up with questions for. Maybe because I actually have to deal with this kind of content too, so it's a little more difficult. Let's see if we have any audience questions real quick. It looks like we don't have any audience questions, so apparently the audience is also having trouble coming up with questions.
Hmm.
Let's see.
Then let me ask a boring one. What's your favorite video you ever made? Like it's a very generic one, but there's a lot that one can say about it.
I have a good answer.
I have two.
There's a bit from a AC Racefest vlog when him and Saber meet Lauren Faust for the first time that they uploaded separately because it's such comedy gold. Race and Saber were fighting with balloon swords in an elevator, and right before the elevator opens, Saber comments on how ridiculous they're acting, and he says, "Imagine if Lauren Faust was there on the other side of the door," because they were at a con that Lauren was at. And 2 seconds later, the door opens, and lo and behold, Lauren Faust is standing right there and sees them playing with the balloon swords. And the face that Saber makes is it's so funny. It's the funniest video on the platform. My favorite video.
I think
I rest my case.
I think we were aiming for ones that you made.
I mean, it's still a cool answer.
No, all my videos suck.
Hey, I like your tier list video.
Oh yeah, true. That one's good.
I watched that because I got forced to watch that by Maynard and Litterfin.
Oh yeah, you watched it in the con room, right?
Yeah. Well, I can answer the question. I have two videos. So first is my Iron Lung official Pony SFM parody thing of Markiplier's Iron Lung trailer. That was the one that did very poorly, but it is one of my favorite videos I've made, hands down. Actually, I guess I have three. Sorry. I have a lot of videos I like that I've made that I'm proud of, because I'm like, oh, I actually put in a lot of effort, which makes me happy. The other one is a one called Element of Brutal Honesty, which was a Punkit comic video. Unfortunately, Macario made the exact same comic dub animation. He posted it one day before I was gonna post mine, and I'm like, why? But it is still my favorite that I've made. One of my favorites that I've made. And then finally, Starlight Glimmer Fans is my other favorite I've made, mainly because it's was the first time I did a really big collab video. I'm proud of it, even though it's very messy and ugly now compared to like what I would be able to do now. But at the time, that video was awesome. I got to collaborate with a bunch of people I would have never imagined I could have collaborated with. That's where I really got my foot in with the fandom finally, where I actually started talking with a lot of people. That video very much is like one of my favorite videos I've just ever made, period. And fortunately, it is in my popular list my 4th most viewed video, so it hasn't completely fallen off yet.
Okay. We're gonna go ahead and make Wind talk about his videos now. Which one is his favorite? Because I know which one is one of his least favorite. Because he fell asleep while editing it.
It was 4 o'clock in the morning. I was exhausted. I just wanted 2 hours.
It's 4:30 in the morning and I'm here.
Shush, Doc. Not everybody's a night owl like us.
But yeah, favorite video of mine?
Yeah.
Honestly, I would say it was my Opaline's Hidden Pass video, because I put so much effort into that, and a lot of the stuff in it was custom made by me. So that took a while to make. I'm really proud of that one. Especially the theory in it. So yeah.
EE.
Ooh,
What's your favorite video you've made?
sure. Okay. Well, in terms of recent videos, I'd say the Great Division. How did it happen? That was basically my attempt at pulling all the information we had on the breakdown of equestrian society, and I guess forming a cohesive narrative around it. It was also the first time I've ever tried to do a collab, which it went pretty well for what it was, I think. Yeah. And even when I look back on it now, I think most of the assumptions and guesses I came to in that video still technically make sense. Even though most of the time that doesn't happen with older videos. It mostly still fits, I think. Yeah.
Doc?
That was my favorite.
Right, I should probably answer that too. I think one of my most recent ones is one of my favorites. I made a really big project for my terms. The top 10, in the top 15 My Little Pony comic storylines.
You should go check that out. I'm definitely in it.
I had a lot of fun making it, but it was a lot of work. It's like a 20-minute video, while my normal videos are between like 3 to 8 minutes long. So this was completely breaking out of my usual schedule, and it also messed up my schedule. Usually I'm like multiple weeks ahead of releases. Now I'm barely 2 weeks ahead of my releases. And yeah, that is not a lot for me, but it was still a lot of fun to make, and I'm sad it didn't get more attention, but it still went well enough in the end. But I don't know if it's like really a good video, but I like what it is. I love talking about the comics. Gushing about the comics is one of my favorite things to do. So yeah. But another one I would use is my big collab that I did with like 10 other people, where also three of the people here were supposed to be on it, but then backed out. So Nameless and Premonition are both on it still. The Underused Characters collab. It's still one of my most viewed videos. I think it's on number 6. But since I ignored 2 of those that are like high up, I'm gonna call it my number 4 most viewed video. Yeah.
So I've got, I think, 3. One of them is a collab that I did with a bunch of people where Wind wanted to do a what if video, and we did it on a possibility of like a possible like ancient Alicorn empire, and it was based off of a character that I used for the final villain of one of my campaigns. So I basically did all of the directing and the everything but the editing for the most part. Some of the assets and the editing were done by Wynn did the editing. The assets were done by Cameo Shadowness.
My boyfriend.
The next one would be my ancient Alicorn. I think I did an ancient. Either I'm thinking of the ancient Alicorn one or the where are they in the current G5 landscape. That was made like pretty early before anything popped up with the actual series. And then my last one would be what is canonicity? Like the fandom canon, or like the show canonicity. That one was kind of like a bit of a passion project, I would say, because I got into it with some people in the comments where it's like they were yelling and screaming at me about whether or not the season 10 was canon, which it is. Like that's been confirmed. The other comics, you can argue, but season 10 is confirmed canon.
It's literally said to be the same canon status as the show. So,
anyways, those are mine. I think we'll round this off with one more question, and this one, I feel like this one it'll be pretty interesting. As a creator, do you plan to stick with G4 or G5, and why? Why is that thought process?
We doing this in order, or?
We'll start with E.
I'll be honest, I'll stick with whatever interests me most.
I mean, that's an entirely
if it's
fair
G4
answer.
or G5 or even an earlier generation, I'll look into it. It's mostly been G4 because that's where most of the cohesive lore and new information has been. But G5 has also provided some interesting material to look into, so I'll look into it.
Okay. Wind, your turn.
I'm gonna get destroyed for this. What was the question again? I was
waiting for you to do that
things.
this entire podcast. The question is G4 or G5? Which one are you going to stick with as a content creator, and why?
Honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I am going to stick with doing both to an extent. Well, G5 to an extent, but I'm mainly gonna be sticking with G4. I'm still gonna do G5 content, like I said, but the reason for that is because I kind of don't want to separate the two because I want to experience both sides of the story. The G5 that is seems to be meant for new people that are new to the fandom, and G4, which is the original fandom, you know? So I'm gonna be doing videos on both.
Stardust.
Definitely sticking with G4. I like the movie when it came out on Netflix. but I watched chapter 1 and I hated it. And I know people are like, oh, you have to watch a little bit more. I didn't like it. And I don't know. I'm just not interested in G5. So I'm probably going to stick to what I know, which is G4. I grew up with it. I'm very comfortable with my knowledge in G4. So I'll probably allude to certain lore drops that happened in G5 surrounding Opaline and the whatever civilization that they came from, the Alicorns came from. But yeah, probably going to stick with G4.
Okay. Reminition?
All right, so for me personally, if I make anything G5, it'll be once in a blue moon. I don't really. It's kind of weird because for me, it's kind of like I don't hate G5, but I don't love G5 either. I watched the movie, thought it was the best thing on planet Earth, and then after that, I just kind of fell off. Like I'm like 2 chapters behind. The last Tell Your Tell episode I watched was the Nightmare Night one. Like I don't know. I like G5 to an extent. I just don't like it nearly as much as G4. And I hate to say that. Like, I'm glad other people enjoy G5. I'm not going to hate on you for liking G5. Just because it's not my cup of tea doesn't mean it has to be, like, something everyone has to dislike. It's like, whatever. If you love G5, that's amazing. But I like aspects of it. I think Misty's a great character, and I think she's very relatable. And I like, Pip and all that, but I just not a huge fan. G4 is definitely what I plan to make a lot of content for from this point on for sure, because, well, G4 literally changed my life for the better, I would say. I was a very depressed kid when I was 12. So I just plan to keep sticking with it. I enjoy making G4 content. I honestly think there's a lot of G4 that still is left to explore. I think that, like, people are like, oh, the show ending on Season 9 is very good. There's basically nothing else they could have done. There was something else they could have done. They were just too scared to do it, which is, like, I like exploring, I eventually want to start making content not just focused on the main characters, for example, because, honestly, one of the biggest disappointments to me was the show never actually explored other, like species, such as Kirin or Griffins or stuff like that. They kind of just...
You should check out the season 10 comics because they do exactly that.
I will after I'm caught up on the regular comics. But yeah. So basically, that's how I feel. I like G4 a lot. I want to do a lot of things with G4. I think there's a lot of stuff that can be done with G4. I think there's a whole wide open world, plus parodies and all that fun stuff. G4 is just the show I like, so that's just what I'm sticking with. Again, G5, once in a blue moon, I'll make some G5 content. I made like 3 G5 videos in a row at one point, so.
Okay. Doc.
I mean, I do both and I don't plan on stopping. It's, I will keep covering the new stuff that comes out. And I will still look back at the old stuff and have fun talking about it. I literally finished making a video about Smolder yesterday, one of the Young Six, and now I'm working on a video on the songs, and that will majority be G4, but also G5 sprinkled in, and that's basically how it's going to be, both as long as I can.
So, I hate to disappoint people, but I'm gonna be sticking to G4. For me, it's a question of just like how poorly written G5 has been so far, because with G5, like the villain wasn't a threat. At no point did I ever hear about the villain actually being a threat, other than failing to steal babies and vases and bullying one character that was, for the majority of the time that they spent together, essentially Stockholm Syndrome following them around. So, like, it's not an interesting story right now. If they get better in the future, I might go back through and watch everything and get caught up. But I am of the opinion that so far, other than, like, singular characters, the main good thing that's come out of G5 is the confirmation that ancient alicorns were in fact a thing. Something I've been saying for a long time, and people want to argue because Sawtooth made a theory about it and said no.
I mean, I was always on your side with that one, Nameless. So,
I mean, I know there are people that agree with me, but most of the time, whenever I get people arguing with me, a chunk of them will say something to the effect of Sawtooth's theory made more sense. But yeah, I'll definitely be sticking with G4. Besides, most of the stuff that I do now is either me rewriting the what's happening, so fanfic type stuff, or it's more focused around the fandom. Because don't get me wrong, love the show, still do, amazing show, but at this point, show's over. Time to focus on the people that made it as popular as it is. Hence, Creator Roundup, and the Creator Hub, and an Alicorn Discusses. And I could probably keep going, but I think you guys get the point.
Yeah.
But on this advertisement.
I think for now we're gonna go ahead and close this one for this week. If you guys are enjoying it, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I can English. Like, comment, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. If you're looking forward to streams next week, there will be no streams next week. However, if you are going to HarmonyCon, be sure to check out me and Reminition will be there. I don't know, anybody else going? I didn't think so.
Nope.
Yeah, so me and Reminition will be there. There will be a bunch of other creators. A bunch of the people that I have met through the Creator Hub that have been on this podcast will be there, like Forever Free Brony. If you're not able to be there in person, I still highly recommend checking out the Ponytown like events for it. They are just honestly, they do a phenomenal job in getting the people that would not be able to be here in person for the conventions. Otherwise, they get them the ability to like at least come and see some of what's going on, enjoy the concerts. I honestly don't know what all they stream to it because I don't remember seeing cameras in the panel rooms in the past few years.
So how they do it, I can actually say. So how they do it, they specifically do main stage is the main thing they do actually record. But regular panels, you have to bring your own camera.
Makes sense.
Which, by the way, do you mind if I plug a single panel?
Sure, I guess.
All right. Anyone who is going, you should watch the Great Randomizer, or the Great Panel Randomizer at HarmonyCon at 10:30 a.m. Saturday on main stage. I think it is going to be a very, very good panel, and I am excited for it.
And I don't have any on the main stage, but I will be up there for the opening and closing ceremonies. So if you want to get a look at my ugly mug and everybody else on stage, those should be also publicized for the Ponytown stuff. Other than that, if you guys are interested in getting on the Discord stage for this podcast so you can like listen in there and possibly have questions and whatnot, check out my Patreon at the $5 tier where we prioritize any questions you guys ask. You get to hang out on the stage, which sometimes we hang around afterwards and chat. Actually, that's been the case with every podcast so far, so I don't know. It seems to have become an impromptu tradition now. Other than that, big thank you to the Patreons at my $10 tier: Cameo Shadowness, Trailblazer, Scarmix, Ice Crystal, and I'm missing one. Ishi. without y'all, I couldn't continue doing what I'm doing. Last thing, check out all of the links in the description. I've got all of the links for the channels for the people that have been on here, as well as some of them gave their Twitter handles, and I'll have a link to my open Discord, as well as to the Patreon and a VoiceMod affiliate link if you're ever interested in how I do the music and voices in the D&D podcasts I do, then definitely take a look at that. It is a wonderful tool for streamers, and I've also used it in certain YouTube videos as well, rather than trying to figure out how to work editing software for sound. But other than that, everybody have a great evening, and don't forget to drink water.
Oh my god, I love water.
I will continue drinking my Pepsi Zero. Thank you very much.
Literally drinking water right now.
I'm just gonna try to rule the world, you know.